Well, after going to free agency winners, now it's time to go over the top 10 biggest losers of NFL free agency. And we already know who one of them is.
Let's talk football.
Alrighty, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the All Around Sports Podcast. So sports are everything on this channel. I'm your host, Antonio. Today, we are going over my top 10 free agency losers of this free agency period. Last time I went over my free agency winners. Now I'm going to go over the losers, 10 biggest losers of NFL free agency. But before we get started, though, if you guys do enjoy this video, please be sure to do me a big favor and smash that button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. But for now, let's go over the biggest losers of NFL free agency. Coming in as the number 10 biggest loser, I'm sorry, but I have to do it. It is the Cleveland Browns. The Browns. I mean, this team just cannot catch a break. And they're always the punching bag for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But the reason why I have them as one of the losers is because they signed some veteran type guys. They signed Malik Collins, Andre Carter, Tevin Jenkins, also along with Jerome Baker. But they got two quarterbacks. They got a quarterback now as they got Kenny Pickett in the trade with the Eagles sending DTR to the Philadelphia Eagles. But Kenny Pickett, this man is decent, but he's not what Jalen Hurts was. And he actually has more starts in a Super Bowl than the Steelers do. And since the last time they made a Super Bowl and since the last time they got a playoff win. I do believe if Deshaun Watson does go down, then Kenny Pickett will take over. But I just don't trust any of these guys on Cleveland because Cleveland is just not that great of a team. I'm sorry, but it's true. But that's why I have the Browns coming in as number 10. Coming in as the number 9 team in free agency to be the biggest loser, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Why do I have them on here? Because they had three key releases. They had Evan Ingram released. They also traded away Christian Kirk and also released Ronald Darby. The key notable signings for this team are De'Ami Brown, Eric Murray, and also along with Hunter Long. That's not a lot of key signings. And they brought in a backup quarterback in Nick Mullins, who has been nothing since leaving San Francisco. But the Jaguars, I really do like their team, and I'm hoping their team succeeds. But the moves that they made, they needed primarily help on the defensive side of the ball because of what happened to them last year and partly offensive line. They did go out there and solve that with two of their picks. But I just do not trust the Jaguars right now. I do believe they'll go out there and fix some of the stuff in the draft, but that's why I have the Jaguars at number 9. Coming in as the number 8 biggest loser of NFL free agency is the Arizona Cardinals.
Alright, Dad, get him! Go get him! Okay, now you got him right. Oh, man, they're really I'm loving this.
Cards. You need offensive line, and you only got one in NFL free agency. This team is just so confusing. They don't go out there and get the right guys. They did get Josh Sweat. I will give them that. But they didn't get anybody that is eye popping other than Josh Sweat. They brought in Jacoby Brissett, who is going to be a backup behind Kyler Murray. I mean, what are you doing there? Also, they re-signed Zay Flowers. I mean Zay Jones, my bad, who's not been that good since coming into the league. LJ Cooler's not been the same since leaving Seattle. And Baron Browning, that was not big of a factor for their defense last year. I just need to see more of this Arizona Cardinals team before I judge them properly in this state. So that's why I have the Cardinals at number 8. Coming in at the number 7 biggest loser is the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers, they did resign J.C. Horn, but dramatically overpaid him. Also, they re-signed Mike Jackson. I really hope that the guy succeeds there. And also, they brought in Rico Dowell. Who, I mean, the Cowboys running back, really? Rico Dowell? I mean, that's not a good move. But Rico Dowell was not a good running back last year. Also, they brought in Tommy Tremble, tight end. Also, along with bringing in a few other no names, David Moore, Dan Shaniza, Andy re-signed Andy Dalton. But they didn't make any eye popping like moves. So because of that, I have the Carolina Panthers coming in at number 7. Coming in at number 6, I am gonna probably displease a lot of Jet fans. The New York Jets. Even though they did get Justin Fields, they did bring in Brandon Stevens and Andre Cisco. Also bringing in Josh Reynolds, Josh Myers. On top of that, bringing in a lot of key pieces. But there's one glaring issue: offensive line. You need to have more offensive linemen because you clearly were not sold in Aaron Rodgers. We'll still wait to see where he goes. Devontae Adams went to the Rams after y'all released him. But the Jets only good things about them are their receivers and Garrett Wilson, and also along with Brees Hall, their running back, and their defense. But other than that, there's nothing eye popping about this Jets team. They just don't have the personnel to go out there and compete. Justin Fields is going to take a year or two to get adjusted, but I mean, this is going to be a very bad situation for Fields to walk into. So that's why I have Fields, and that's why I have the Jets coming in at number 6. Coming in at number 5 is the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins brought back Terrell Dotson, also bringing in Westbrook Akine, who is not that much in Tennessee. He did have a better year there, but he's not going to be the number 1 receiver on this team because that already belongs to Tyreek and Jalen Waddle. But they also released Raheem Mostert, brought back Eskridge, who is a fast man. Oh, they also brought in Farrell Brown, a decent tight end. Willie Gay Jr., who's a solid linebacker. Artie Burns, not that great of a corner. And then also bringing in a bag of chips backup quarterback in Zach Wilson. I mean, Zach Wilson's arguably one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. And you brought him in for only $60 million? That could have been used for something else. I'm telling you that right now. That could have been used on like Tyler Huntley. But no, you go for Zach Wilson. But that's why I have the Dolphins coming in at number 5. Coming in at number 4 is the Houston Texans. I really like the Texans here, but I have to say it. The Texans, although they did make a lot of good moves on the defensive side, bringing in Sheldon Rankins, Darrell Taylor, also along with Blanken Tomlinson, bringing in Cam Robinson, also along with Trent Brown, Ronald Darby, bringing in Justin Watson, who's a solid wide receiver, Christian Kirk, who's a solid wide receiver, C.J. Gardner Johnson, and bringing back a lot of other guys in Mario Edwards Jr. and Derek Stingley Jr., making him the highest paid corner in the NFL. I love the moves, but they don't. None of them are eye popping except for Cam Robinson. That one's the most eye popping out of them all. But I do believe they'll go out there and assess offensive line if they need to. But for right now, I have the Texans coming in at number 4. Next up at number 3 is the black and gold incarnation of winners, the Pittsburgh Steelers. They did go out there and get some more defensive guys in Darius Slay, Juan Thornhill, also along with bringing in a few other guys. But they didn't get anybody eye popping. They did go out there and get DK. They did go out there and get Kenneth Gainwell. Well, who's their quarterback? Mason Rudolph at the moment, and maybe possibly Aaron Rodgers, which I'll laugh if that happens. I will laugh so hard if Aaron Rodgers does get signed. But when I look at the Steelers, I'm looking at only their defensive signings. I'm not looking at their offensive signings. Even though DK is a good wide receiver, there's nobody going to be throwing him the ball if he doesn't have a quarterback yet. Right now, it's going to be Mason Rudolph. If it is Aaron Rodgers, I'm going to be like, what in the Sam Hill did DK walk himself into? But that is why I have the Steelers coming in at number 3. Coming in at number 2, the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh my! Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, now you die.
The Cowboys, although I like the running back moves that they made, bringing in Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams, they still need some help in the run defense category. And they brought in Solomon Thomas, Peyton Turner, also along with bringing in Jake Stanborn. But none of these guys are really eye popping. They did re-sign Oza Adigizua, also along with Kevondre Turpin, and also bringing back CJ Goodwin to a 1-year deal. But nothing that the Cowboys do is eye popping because they need defensive rushing help. And right now, Brian Schottenheimer is your head coach. I mean, Brian Schottenheimer, I loved him in Seattle, but I questioned him because of his play calling. But that is why I have the Cowboys coming in at number 2. Coming in as the number 1 biggest loser, y'all know who it is. The San Francisco 49ers. Niner fans, what have y'all gotten yourselves into? Are y'all in a secret rebuild? Because that's what it's looking like to me. But this team, being for real honest, this team was trash in the free agency period. They traded away Deebo Samuel, who was only bad last year because he didn't have Christian McCaffrey or Brandon Ayuk. Traded away Jordan Mason for a 6th-round pick.
Did you forget who I am? What have I done?
And I believe he was worth a 2nd or 3rd-round pick. You released Leonard Taylor, Leonard Floyd, your second leading sacker, Javon Hargrave, Malik Collins, Kyle Juszczyk, and then you re-sign him. Like, what are y'all doing? Now you have to pay him more money. And I think that's how it works. Correct me if I'm wrong. But then you also brought in the 2 notable signings that y'all have. Was to sign Demarcus Robinson, who is a decent wide receiver, but he's not Amari Cooper. Also, you brought in a bag of chips backup in Mac Jones, who is an expired bag of chips.
You're my
Like, what are y'all doing? Are y'all gonna pay 30, like $70 million per year? Is that what y'all are doing? Because you haven't spent your money since releasing those guys. You have not spent a penny yet, other than those guys. And the 49ers are a terrible team right now. Based on what they were last year and the moves that they just made, all the releases, they don't even have a full roster yet. So the 49ers probably going to miss the playoffs because they just don't know what to do. John Lynch is by far the most boneheaded GM in the league. Leave freeing up all this money for what? Demarcus Robinson and Mac Jones? You have Amari Cooper out there right now, and if you pay Brock Purdy that money, you ain't going to be able to go out there and get him. Which is why I have the 49ers coming in at number 1. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Who do you guys think was the biggest loser of free NFL free agency? Was it one of the teams I mentioned, or was it not? Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to do me a big favor and smash the like button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Well, until next time, I'll see you all in the next one. Ciao for now.